I do not like it. All right, welcome to Paideia Corporate Board meeting for March the 23rd, 2026. We will now have our secretary, Miss Katie Rodriguez, call the roll.
Okay, Dr. Winsor,
Present.
Mrs. Jones,
Present.
Mrs. Rodriguez, present. Mrs. Chu,
Present.
Dr. Tejan,
Present.
Mrs. Hobage,
Present.
And guests, we have Mr. Joel Brice and Mrs. Rie. You all have in your packet the notes template and make it easier for everybody to take notes. We do have a quorum. Our start time is 5:03. All right, item 2, approval of previous minutes. That should be the next document in your stack. Entertain a motion if anybody, or is there any discussion about the previous minutes? Hearing no discussion, I entertain a motion to approve the previous minutes from February 2nd, 2026.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Hobage. All right, Katie.
oh, Miss Chu.
We can do.
Oh, we have to do
we
the
can
roll.
just do a voice vote on this one.
Oh, okay, everybody in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I didn't know I was supposed to do that.
Yeah. Hearing none. The motion is approved. Call the public. I received no requests to engage with the board. No formal requests, let's say. All right, item 4, executive report. In the previous meeting, Mrs. Jones was directed to just give us an update on the family engagement team and how we're going to operate with. Could you give us a report, please?
Yes. I met with our Family Lighthouse committee president, and we discussed the creation of a family engagement team, which would involve meeting with a group of parents from the family engagement who would become a part of the family engagement team quarterly, where I would be able to meet with those parents. And the idea is to review the family engagement plan on a regular basis, and then make sure that we're following it, and then also make sure that that's an opportunity to get some voice and feedback from our engaged families, and just make sure that we're doing what we can to clearly and intentionally engage families.
Okay.
So that'll be a quarterly conversation as that team gets put together. And I think right now it's going to be, and Mrs. Hobage and I spoke about this, that it will be a subcommittee
Oh,
from the Family Lighthouse Committee.
I like that idea a lot. The FLC. The FET, the FLC.
Yeah. There you go.
Very good. Any clarifying questions for Mrs. Jones and Mrs. Hobage on that plan? I like it a lot. There's a lot I think we can, especially with some changes and some some things that are going on. It would be great to have the parents come in and give us some ideas,
Yeah.
some feedback, some feedback. All right, Mr. Joel Brice, let me get the hmm. I don't think um I can get it. My computer went wonky.
Let's see.
So yeah,
Let
once
me
you
log in.
then you can just mute yourself, I suppose.
Can you guys hear me okay? Ben, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Perfect. We got no reverb. Look at that, Brian. First try.
Got it.
Never happens.
Get your co-host.
All right. All right, so we have a report that includes all activity year to date through February 28th. So 8 months of operation for the fiscal year, 7 months of school operation, because July is obviously a kind of a startup month with no classes in session. It's good news and it's bad news, guys. So we went through at our last budget meeting, which we held on, I think, the 16th of March. And as a result of that meeting, we're able to determine the kind of where we needed to reconcile the budget. Essentially, that process is aligning to more of a projection for the end of the year based on our current trends, our known revenues, our known expenses, and our anticipated expenses in areas that they're not exactly known, versus how we start the year with a budget capacity suggestion for this is what it's going to be needed to take us through the year. In that process, we were able to kind of downgrade some of the expense allocation to certain lines based on our performance being better than anticipated. In some categories, we went up a little bit to adjust. Transportation is a good example. It's a little bit above where we thought it would be based on the contract for the year, based on additional routes and field trips and that kind of thing. So with that being done, it did improve the outlook in the budget. It's not material, but it's a significant amount. It's about $180,000 of improvement, moving us from a 0.58 coverage, which is terrible, to a 0.7 coverage, which is still terrible, but improved for the fiscal year. So I have included in this the closing projection, which is now the revised budget as of 3/18. And it gives us a pretty clear picture of where we'll finish the year, both on a coverage, performance, and cash basis. With that, we'll jump in real quick. I want to bore you with too many details. I just kind of went through those. 0.7 times actual is our projection now. 0.12 is needed to satisfy the terms of our loan agreement. 0.10 is needed to satisfy our authorizer's requirements. This budget year exclusively, for every 10 points you move it, the projection or the coverage up, it's about $157,000 in positive net earnings is the ratio. And that applies to this year only. That's not a hard and fast rule for future years, but this year, that's the way it works. So to get us to a 0.8 coverage, we need to improve our performance by $157,000. 0.9, it would be 2 times $157,000 and so on. So it's a pretty big delta. That's $629,000 to satisfy that 1.10 times coverage required by our authorizer. That will be our only black eye for this year. We'll have positive earnings of greater than $1 adjusted earnings, but we will not have the debt service coverage in hand. The reasons for that, board members, is we satisfy a fair amount of principal service each year on our indebtedness, which is not part of your profit and loss. It's on your balance sheet. So in your profit and loss, interest is expressed as an expense, but the principal that we pay on our mortgage each month happens separately. So that 629 is what's needed to get us to that 1.10. That is about 73 students. Hold on, bear with me. That's updated. Let's figure out what that is for real. In the current year, that is 75 students short, ADM short of where we need to be. So a pretty big delta. not an undoable thing. It just, we obviously can't satisfy that this year. It'll take us some time to get there. All right, so switching back, jump into the balance sheet real fast. So this is totally crazy. Okay, so the way this broke up, I apologize. It's very difficult to see. $5.311 million in all cash. Most of that is unrestricted. There is a balance that's held in restricted funds of $840,000 in the repair and replacement fund. We need to move everything we can against that to convert that to unrestricted cash. So I'll get with REA, make sure we've got everything for the projects that we can anticipate charging back even from prior years. We'll turn it in and get that moved out. Last year at the same time, $5.794 million, the change of $482,000. That lines up nicely with the year-to-date loss that we're incurring and then some other movement on the balance sheet related to AP and capital acquisition. So yes, cash is down. It's still a very, very liquid position. You have an excellent balance sheet. It is going to be declining while we lose money. AP was a little bit higher this year versus last year. That's normal for Paideia. There's timing of things coming in and projects that we're completing. Everything else largely the same. Net assets, which I'm going to draw your attention to right here. Total equity, $5.419 million. Positive net assets is great for charter schools. We are in a great position. $6 million, same time last year. The downgrade in positive net assets has to do with that movement in cash and some other balance sheet activity that's expected.
I got lost on your paper.
I'm on page 7 of the PDF at the bottom of page 7, second line up from the bottom as far as numbers go.
Okay, wait, I got to undo mine because the person who staples these normally, she staples them too far down. Lost my
You are
You hear me? You hear me? Executive assistant that can staple things better. Yeah, welcome back. Like when are you going back to Alabama?
It's a small request, I
Just say,
suppose.
you're welcome.
Okay, so let's see, you're on page 5.
Page number 7 of the PDF is labeled page number 7 as well, 7 of 13.
7, gotcha.
So second line up from the bottom where the numbers are, $5.419 million in positive net assets, which is great. It is downgraded by $600,000 from the same period last year. And that's a number of things on your liabilities, but predominantly cash. Moving on to your statement of activities. This is a comparison against last fiscal year to this fiscal year. So it gives you an idea of what's changed. Most notably, if you look, local revenues and state revenues are almost identical.
Yeah.
Even though we have a little bit less enrollment, we are paid more per pupil this year. So that helped narrow that gap and even make it positive. We're still missing some earnings that we should have received in K-3. It's not significant, but it adds up to about $50,000 for the year. We're holding the line almost identical to last year on local and state.
Is that what you're working on today?
Yeah.
The K-3 thing?
Yes.
Okay.
The big change, as you can see, is $519,000 on the Fed side. That is almost exactly the amount of ESSER 3 we were able to draw down and allocate into the beginning of last fiscal year.
Oh.
That's not available to us anymore, thus the change there.
Okay.
If you factored that out, our revenues, even though there's a difference in enrollment, are pretty much identical last year to this year. Expenses are higher by $186,000 year to date. That's $96,000 from staffing, $19,000 better on benefits. Some of that's retirement related. I don't understand the timing of that, or if there's going to be additional deferred comp, and if there will, that'll make up that savings. If there's not, then that's going to be a savings.
There's not.
The rest of these are pretty much even, Steven, until you get into supplies. $81,000 more than last year. I think, Victoria, that's curriculum. We loaded up a little more curriculum this year, and slightly more in food. That's to be anticipated. That said, roughly the same revenue model. If you factored out ESSER, factoring in ESSER, we're actually $500,000 less than last year and $186,000 more in expenses. You can see that swing of $685 is what's putting significant pressure on the budget this year to date. It makes sense. Enrollment is the way forward. We have to build enrollment while we keep our expenses as minimal as
Well, I always
humanly
want to
possible.
say, I want to attach this every time we say that. It's not new kids only.
Retention is a
Yeah.
big part of the pathway to additional enrollment for next year.
Sometimes our paradigm
Absolutely.
is enrollment. We've got to find new families. We've just got to keep the ones we have happy.
Keep the ones we have and add some new ones.
And then some just have to move because of finances and stuff.
Yep. And that's, I think, Brian, that's part of this too, is there's a difference in the transient nature of your market for your existing students more than we have seen, 5 years ago. There's more movement of those students out because of economic reasons. So
Yeah.
those are things we can't control. We have to factor that into the plan, which we're doing in our revised enrollment projections for the out years of the budget. We're anticipating a certain amount of loss for that reason. We can't control it. And you have to backfill with net new and then some. So with that, let me walk you through, just jump right into, we've only burned off since we started the fiscal year, $36,000 and some change in cash. That's very positive. We are going to burn off a bit
Right
more.
now.
The bottom of page 10.
Yeah, okay. I see.
We're gonna burn off quite a bit more in the last quarter of the year as we close out the year. Page number 11.
Okay,
Budget
so wait,
versus
go back
actual.
to 10.
Yep.
So our cash at the end of this period right now,
Cash at the end of February was only $36,000, $36,000 better than it was at the end of last fiscal year. Recall, we had a huge receivable from state equalization
right?
hanging out for 37% of state equalization. That's unusual for us. No schools usually have that. That's a big part of that. That would have been a decline in cash if we'd had that on the books last year. We received it this year. That helped offset the burn.
So at this point, we had the $5.3 million in cash in our war chest, per se.
Yep.
Gotcha.
As of February 28th.
Okay, very good.
Budget versus actual on page 11. So on the revenues, we went through and reconciled, and we're projecting toward what we will actually receive all in for the end of the year, and then broke it out based on a kind of a straight line on the revenues. So where you see negatives for the state and the Fed, disregard those. We will come in almost exactly where the budget includes or assumes us to be. We are a little bit ahead on the local side. I'm hedging my bet. Interest earnings are down on our interest-bearing accounts.
Sure.
And they're likely to continue to be
Yeah.
a little bit off of what we'd originally thought, so I backed that off. On the expense side, where you see irregularities, where it's not exactly perfect, it's timing. The budget is now right-sized to the projection that we're closing on, and I think it's very accurate. So we're $11,000 underspent. We're really not. It's just timing of how things move through the system, and we incur expenses. We will finish with a 0.7 coverage, perhaps a 0.72 coverage. Cash wise, about 200 days and some change, so still very positive liquidity, but a pretty large debt service coverage delta. Brian will have positive earnings for the year, though. Have just a little bit more than a few dollars positive earnings, 27,418 to be exact, before depreciation and amortization, which is good. That means we only have one blip on the charter board dashboard. Everything else will be green. When that happens, they typically will grade us up a notch. We'll have
So
a-
on page number 12, that middle column, budget down at 27,418, that's our annual net income.
That's your adjusted net income before depreciation and amortization. That's what your authorizer will look at.
Yeah, but that's on our dashboard,
Yep,
right?
that's on your dashboard.
Which
So,
one is it, Joel?
page number 12, the
Oh,
second
net operating, okay.
column to
Yeah.
the right, budget. At
Okay.
27,418
Yeah.
is where we're projecting will close in real
Jeez,
terms.
we've
for the
never
year.
been that
Or
low.
Never even kind of. Hey, that's I feel like
Amazing.
in a weird way, we kept talking cash for years, and you're like,
Yeah.
at some point, I bet you thought, why so much cash?
Yeah.
We're
Oh,
here.
no, I don't think I ever thought that, but
We're gonna
yeah.
we're gonna use a little
This
bit of
is
it, and we're gonna
moment.
get back in the saddle and make it happen. So,
Yeah, wow, okay.
So with that said, projected performance, we've gone through this a few times. We're gonna
Okay.
close about 208 days cash.
That's on the last page, that big scale. This is the dashboard. That's
Yeah.
the most important one to Bill made this for us some years ago.
One of the keys to this 208 days cash is the conversion of a chunk of that restricted cash that's held in the repair and replacement fund. What that means is we've got invoices we've never billed to that fund. We've already paid the bills long ago. We just turn those in and say, give me that money, reimburse me. And that takes it basically from your left pocket to your right pocket. So it's restricted now. It becomes unrestricted cash, and that gets us to that 208 days. Without that,
You see
still
where he's
have
talking about
a
that
big
all the way
number.
to the bottom
Yes.
table, days cash and in. Okay, very good.
Yeah, we're planning on about $500,000 in total movement between all the unrestricted cash. You have a little bit of classroom site funds I can burn this year, and the rest of that's project fund. So it is what it is, guys. There's nothing wrong with this. It happens in business from time to time. The key is to have a strategy to pull out of it. So I'll close you with this. We've done a lot of work as a management team in the last week, going through different scenarios and things that can be done to address this in 27 and beyond. One crazy scenario that I did on my own, playing with what if we close the high school and moved everything back to elementary like we used to be? What does that look like? And I did that mostly to determine that that is a loser, and it is. The high school adds to our performance, even in its current state. So know that closing the high school, which is the worst thing I could possibly imagine doing, is worse than where we're at right now. So in my mind, that's very reassuring. The pathway forward, and I could get into the weeds on this, but I'll give it to you this way. The issue Paideia is struggling with right now, it kind of did to itself. We reduced our average class size per teacher, and we got well below the threshold we can survive at. That incremental loss of enrollment is why it hurts so much. We can't reduce expenses further because you have to have a certain number of teachers and support positions, but we're not generating enough revenue per classroom to fund our organization. Those are things that are fixable. It's fixable over some time with enrollment beyond what's needed to maintain the minimums. When I started with the school, our average class size, even in Kendra, I think, was like 28 per regular classroom. And you guys probably had wait lists in a good number of those grades at that time.
Yeah, we never really had wait lists.
We managed to arrive
They're
at between
small,
25 and 28 in there.
28,
Yeah, 25, 28,
And
all the way up,
that
and 4 wide, 5 wide on the
Beautifully
campus.
funded your organization. 25 per regular, core content teacher, not including special education, but I would throw the specials in there because that's a regular rotation. 25 per, we are humming. We're doing phenomenal. Even 22 makes it work. We're at a little under 17 right now. So that's where the pressure point is. These are things that we can resolve with enrollment. Retention is part of that enrollment. And that is quite literally the only path forward. So it feels good to know that's the way out. We focus on that. It's the most important business initiative we face, other than the maintenance and improvement of academics.
Right.
That should go without saying. But from a business perspective, enrollment and average class size growth is where it is at.
So we have engaging in a new marketing company. Probably not the time to say that. We have some new strategies we're working on. And you should, Katie and Crystal and Ben, you're probably going to receive an email from me with a little survey that I'd like you to honestly take for some feedback for an initiative we're embarking on here very shortly. We also are getting a Moody's rating, working on that right now, based upon our past. I want to get this rating done fast before all the other stuff hits. And then also we're working on refinancing the 2015. Were you going to say this?
No, let's jump into that. That's perfect.
We're going to refinance the 2015, the 2019, and the 2022 bonds into one bond series. And so our goal is to have that all done before June 30th, whatever many days are in June. So what that'll do was that will make it so the 0.70 isn't our look back. There's a look back of 3 years all the time. So that'll take that 0.70 off the radar of the bond financiers, right?
Yep. Yeah, this year would be an untested year because we're closing at the very end of it. There'd be no requirement for the new bonds, and there would be no requirement for the old bonds because they're gone. And it's frankly, it's a strategy. That's not something you can do again, but it is a strategy we're able to execute on in all likelihood. Our hope is that we can spread the debt out over a longer period of time. Currently, we're amortized over 30 years. It's not at all uncommon. In fact, the most common is 35 years now in the bond market for charter schools, and we see plenty of deals that are 40. There's a pro and a con to that, but in a nonprofit setting, you could make a heck of an argument that the debt service amount monthly being lower is more important than how much interest you're paying over time. And I think that's something we'll consider heavily to lower our overall expenses.
Yeah.
And to make it easier to achieve a solid debt service number given our current level of enrollment. So all of these things are part of the school's financial plan that we're actively working to execute.
Yeah. All right. You want to unshare and any clarifying questions for Joel?
What's the Moody rating you were talking about? What does that mean?
Yeah, so you've heard about the S&P 500. It's an index fund that they basically S&P Standard & Poor's is a huge agency that knows everything there is to know about stocks and bonds, and they look at the best performers out there and say these are our top 500 for this index. And we think that if you invest in this index fund, you're going to kind of maximize your return in the market on average without a whole lot of work. Similar to that, they do ratings for charter schools to determine where you're at on the scale of investment grade as a bond goes, which is a different kind of financial instrument. So the best that we could be is investment grade, and there's a high and low in investment grade. We will probably come in just a little bit under that with some kind of triple B minus or triple A minus or below. But what that gives to investors is an independent look from S&P or Moody's in this case. They're the same kind of agency, but different. They'll say, hey, if Moody's agrees that they're a triple A minus, that's pretty solid. It's not investment grade, but it's in that case it is. But it's way better than an unknown credit. We feel comfortable with that, and they'll give us a better deal on the cost of funds. In other words, they could move your cost to borrow. Think of it like APR down a whole percent in that case. And if you're investment grade, it can move it down many percent. So it's advantageous to us to get this rating. We look at it and see, do we want to use it? If we don't want to use it, we don't have to. There's no harm, no foul. If it's good for us to use it, we'll pay the funds and use it and maintain it. And that will give us a lower cost of funds on this borrowing. Because basically their stamp or endorsement on it in your current form, you're very likely to not default on your debt. They feel very comfortable with you. Obviously that changes every year, but we have to maintain that. But it's a feather in your cap as a school. If you are rated even just a little below investment grade, that's a big deal as a charter school. Most are not anywhere near that. And the ones that are at that level and above are the names you've all heard.
Yeah.
So it's a good place to be. It's a good company to keep.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? All right, item 5. Victoria, do you know the genesis of item 5?
Yes.
Could you address it? I put your name there. I was hoping you did know.
So we just completed our Title I audit, well, monitoring, through the State Department of Education. And one of the things that came up as a piece that we need to ensure that we have in place is a statement or policy on assessment and parents' rights. And so I actually just completed a coffee chat last Wednesday or so on this issue, on this topic. And so I addressed the parent, we had a little statement that we put together on parents' rights in terms of the assessments, statewide assessments, benchmark assessments. And it just comes down to a parent's right to know about the assessments, to get information about them. And there's also a piece called parents' right to opt out. Although in the state of Arizona, they don't actually have the right to opt out, even though it's sort of a formal federal right. So anyway, we need to just clarify that and make sure that we have an intentional policy and statement around that. And that's what the purpose of this particular item is. It's basically to comply with that piece for the Title I, which is a federal monitoring program we get funding from. So there's the purpose statement there. Do you want me? How in depth do you want me to go on this one, Dr. Winsor?
I'm going to use your judgment.
I mean, did everyone have a chance to review it at all? That's the purpose statement that we're committed to administering assessments to support student achievement, instructional excellence, and compliance with state and federal law. So we want this policy. It says this policy outlines requirements for statewide assessments, local benchmark assessments, and parent rights related to assessment participation. So it's broken up into the statewide assessments and our compliance with state and federal law within these assessments. You can see all the assessments listed there. Parents' rights in statewide assessments, that they have the right to request information regarding these assessments, policies, to review testing schedules and purposes, and receive assessment results. And this is that statement I said earlier that basically Arizona doesn't provide a statutory right for parents to opt out, although we need to let you know that you do have the right to inquire about it as a parent.
You can ask.
It's a road to
Can't do
nowhere.
anything.
Because all students in Arizona are expected to participate in those state mandated assessments. It goes into the information about the alternate assessment for students with disabilities if they qualify for the MSAA.
Well, there's an important sentence, I think, down here.
Okay,
That last sentence in the opt-out.
students enrolled in Paideia Academies are
Oh, I'm
expected to
sorry.
participate in state mandated assessments. I think I just stated that, but they are exempt, unless they're exempted from,
It's this sentence right here. The provision applies only to locally selected benchmark or interim assessments.
where
So
are
that-
you?
I'm on section B, part, 4B.
Did you jump
Oh,
ahead?
yeah, we're
Yeah, you
not quite
jumped
there.
ahead.
Oh, you're not there?
On the top of the
Overachiever.
second
I
page.
was like, what are you?
But that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
On the
I was
top
just
of
going
here.
through MSAA and then the benchmark assessments. The benchmark assessments is a little bit different because actually, these assessments, they're not mandated by the state of Arizona like a state assessment. So parents can request non-participation in benchmark
Okay, I
assessments.
got you.
Yeah,
I was reading ahead.
so if the parent submits a written request for their child not to participate in one of those local benchmark assessments, we are to honor the request. But we can counsel with parents about the importance of those assessments and why we collect that information. I think if we just really are intentional in communicating with parents, which was what my attempt was with the coffee chat, on what we do with those assessments and the purpose behind them and why they are important for the school, for the child. But if requested, we'll document it. And then of course, there's that list of important considerations. If a parent does want to have their child opt out of those assessments, these are the limitations we would want them to know. In terms of the transparency and communication section, this is what we're responsible for as Paideia Academies. We are responsible to publish assessment schedules annually.
Yeah, we do that, don't we? In
We
the
do.
calendar, right?
Mhm. And also through our communication for like on the newsletters and
Sure.
class dojo and everything.
Yeah.
Provide information about the purpose and use of the assessments. And we just did that in our coffee chat. We'll continue to make that an annual meeting for parents. Share assessment results with families in a timely manner. And ensure accommodations are provided in accordance with the IEPs, 504s, and any English language plans that are relevant to that. That's the policy.
That's the policy. And we'll put this, I have a list of annual legal compliance reviews that I do every year. And so this will be on the list.
So I am curious, after sitting in on the coffee chat, I asked Bella if she understands why they have to take the test, because of course I just get we have to test all the kind of stuff. Do they kind of understand why they test? And as because maybe if they understand why it's there, they wouldn't be so about it, and maybe they take it a little more serious too. Because I only gave her like a little pinch of what you said, and I was like, well, you realize, they do this too. How?
Yeah.
Da, da, da. And it was like, well, I kind of get that, but it's like to her, she's stressing that I have to get an A, I have to get 100. And I'm like, but it's not about that. It's about knowing where you're at, so they can help you get where you need to be, or maybe put you in another class that might excel you more because you're bored in this class or something.
I think that's really good feedback because yes, they should. That should be a conversation that's happening in
crew.
classrooms in crew, and then also like at the elementary campus, it would be as part of the leadership notebooks and 7 habits.
Because if they go into it with they each have a blue card with the previous data, and they make a goal and they track it, they make their lead WIG measure. If we're running on all cylinders, they should know. But the human will always go, I have to take this test. And just redirect it. Maybe that's a good coffee chat is to, hey, when your kids are redirect them back to their leadership notebook and now they're in control of their data.
And I think the problem is sometimes she wants to be at that higher level score, even though she's on level score. And it's like, you gotta be okay with where you're at too.
Well, sure. And there's also the conversation in crew that says, if you want to be here, what are the, we call them lead measures? What are the activities you're consistently doing really well to get there? And if you're not willing to do the consistent work to get there, then you're not going to get there, and you just have to be happy with where you are.
Accept
So,
it or
yeah,
kinda,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, do the work.
You can, yeah. That's good feedback. So
Feedback,
far,
'cause it is
teachers
something we
can
want
feedback,
the
yeah.
students should embrace their own data.
Mhm.
And I think I may have said, and maybe that's why you went home and asked, because I think I said on there, go
Yeah.
home and ask your children about, what, so what their goals are,
Right.
what they put in their leadership notebooks. So they should know that we can do a better job always on that. So.
I'd entertain a motion to approve to adopt, the board policy of assessment and parents' rights.
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you, Mrs. Hobeige.
I'll second it.
And thank you, Mrs. Rodriguez. Okay, this would be a roll call vote.
Okay. Dr. Winsor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Rodriguez, yes. Mrs. Chu,
Yes.
Dr. Tejan,
Yes.
Miss Hobeige.
Yes.
Any abstain or is that what I'm supposed to do?
No, it's good because then even if it was me, I'd say I'm going to abstain and just circle the A
Uh-huh.
on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, motion motion has been approved unanimously and passes. Very good. All right. I want to open up the conversation. We don't have to decide tonight, but I want to open up the conversation to revisit and revise our corporate mission statement. Do we know what the corporate mission statement is?
Very long.
No.
The family centric.
Yeah, it's too long.
Family
It's a
centric.
lot of
I know that word,
words.
family-centric.
Take away.
Here's
Didn't we
just
start this conversation.
many times I've started this
Alright.
conversation.
Just
because-
making sure it's not like.
Here's my recommendation. If we asked you what the mission statement was, what's the first 6 words or so you would say?
Empower
Keep going.
body, mind, heart, and spirit.
Through.
Education.
That's we said that
Empower the whole person.
from the day one. We empower the whole person through body, mind, heart, and spirit through education. It's very simple. And I would propose to us that we go back to a simple mission statement everyone can say. And if I ask any human in our organization, what's our mission statement? They can say, oh, it's to empower the whole person, body, mind, heart, and spirit through education. Boom, we got it. And that's part of what we're doing through the Paideia Way is helping that same mission statement get out into the community. That's
That's how
my
I explain
proposal. Huh?
Paideia. That's how I explain Paideia to people.
Yeah, you already know the mission statement. You don't know the corporate
Oh,
one.
I can't. We've read it. We've talked about it. I can't tell you what it says.
Yeah.
It's way too much. I just say it's a whole person education. They focus on the person as a whole, not just.
I would propose
Yeah.
that we adopt the mission statement so I can get it to the charter board. I could put it on our website and everybody know that our mission statement is we empower the whole person hyphen body comma mind comma heart comma spirit hyphen through education period.
Yes.
Mr. Tejan, Dr. Tejan, how you feeling? Because I think you were in this original discussion. Were you in 2014 or 13 or whatever it was?
I think I've been involved in every revision of mission statement conversation this school's ever had. I
Yes.
approve.
Okay. I'm going to write this thing down so I get it right. We, or just empower, Miss Garrison, grammar person. It's just we empower.
Yeah, we empower.
Power the whole hyphen person through hyphen
Right.
body comma mind comma heart comma spirit hyphen through education
Mhm.
period. ¿Está bien?
Yes.
I entertain a motion to approve our revised simplified mission statement.
A motion to approve the simplified version.
Thank you, Mrs. Hovage. Entertain a second.
I second.
Hold on a second.
Thank you, Mrs. Chu. All right, this will be a roll call, definitely.
Okay, Dr. Winsor?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodriguez? Yes. Mrs. Chu?
Yes.
Dr. Tejan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hovage?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously and Ben, this is the last time we'll have this discussion.
Because it's perfect now.
It is, yes. All right, item 7, Mrs. Jones. I don't remember what this is about. Oh, yeah, I do now. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a discussion and potentially a vote, I believe,
Yes.
to, I would like to, so the proposal is to change our calendar, so every year. So currently, our current calendar has our Wednesdays, and it's been this way for several years. Wednesday is our early release day. That's our 1:30 day. We get out at 1:30, students are released, and teachers stay for professional learning communities, PLCs, on Wednesdays. We have we've implemented our concurrent enrollment program. So we have several of our high school students who attend South Mountain Community College. And it's a Monday through Thursday program. So they're attending their classes Monday through Thursday. And we have found that there's a little hiccup always on Wednesdays in terms of scheduling for those students because we get out of school at 1:30 and it limits the possibilities of classes and courses that they can take. There are no college classes on Fridays. So what we'd like to propose is that we have a regular school day from Monday through Thursday, where school gets out at 3:00. And then our early release day would actually be on Fridays. So we would release early on Fridays at 1:30 instead of Wednesdays. It will still be 1 day a week, early release. It just changes the day from Wednesday to Friday. Teachers will still stay on Fridays for PLCs, and that's when we would have our professional learning communities. That's the proposal.
I've been waiting a long time for you guys to switch it to Friday.
Really?
I think that's really great.
I think they'll.
It's just because it makes it easier. Like it just, I don't know, in the middle of the week, it didn't make any sense, but I don't know.
I think Fridays are great for the college classes. I mean, it makes sense for them. So if there was ever a reason to do it,
Yeah.
switching it now would help. And I know staff would still have to stay, but it would help parents if they wanted to do vacations. Maybe you'd have less kids being
Yeah.
pulled out early
Mhm.
on Fridays.
And staff were staying anyway on Friday
Yeah,
because it's a full day.
Yeah, we normally stay on
Yeah,
Fridays.
so
anyway.
yeah, there's no
Yeah.
difference
So
to
it's-
them. Yeah.
it's not changing their schedule, but
It helps
Yeah.
the families, I
it
think, like you
definitely,
said,
yeah, I think it'll help them. Hopefully you'll see less kids being pulled out early
Right.
on Fridays because of that. Because now
Yeah,
if they're off at 1:30,
especially like
Yeah.
on the holidays and spring breaks and
Mhm.
like whatever.
I think it also helps our block schedule because we can have 4
Oh,
solid days of
right.
instruction, and then you get that
Wednesday's a
Wednesday,
hiccup.
Friday. And Wednesday always-
and you
always
kind
a
of get
hiccup.
everything like, because
Mm.
Wednesdays are kind of recaps, but at least at the end of the week, it makes sense to
Yeah.
have those recaps because
Mhm.
I know that's something my child comes home and tells me about.
Yeah.
It's like, it makes no sense to have all these classes crammed in on Wednesdays
Yeah.
and we haven't even talked about some of the stuff.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, here's how I crafted the motion to revise the fiscal year 27 corporate calendar to move early release from Wednesday to Friday.
Mhm. Yes.
All right. Entertain a motion.
I motion to approve changing early release to Fridays.
Thank you, Mrs. Hovade. And a second.
I second that motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Chu. All right, Mrs. Rodriguez.
Dr. Winsor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Rodriguez, yes. Mrs. Chu,
Yes.
Dr. Tejan,
Yes.
Mrs. Hovage.
Yes.
Motion unanimously approved. All right, last item except for adjournment. As I mentioned earlier, we are working on the corporate refinance of our bonds, which require us to have a resolution. I think it's the last long page. This is the similar to the 2019-17 one, Dr. Teachin, we did. Still from Dane Fernandez, that company, that law firm. So what this resolution does, it authorizes us, a key place to look is probably the 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph. It has a $30 million number in there. And what it does, it authorizes us to go out to finance and to refinance all of our bonds into one series, one bond. And Dane and Paul at Fermenter just suggested that we have a number that's pretty high, 30 million. We're not going to use that, but I don't want to have to go back to us and go back to the bond and go back and redo if it's going to be 26. What do we anticipate it to be, Joel?
Around that
Yeah,
number.
about 26 million.
Maybe a skosh more, but this is for your conduit issuer, the Sierra Vista IDA. They need the board resolution to state whatever it is, and it's a not to exceed number. We have no anticipation of using 30 million bucks
No.
to do it. It won't take that at all, but instead of getting nitpicky, we're asking for a big number and don't have to come back to you or them for that matter, given the timeline for approval. We have one chance to get this in front of them in May for approval. And then if we have to go back in June to rewrite this for some reason, that can definitely be the reason we don't close by 6:30. So
Oh yeah, I
That's
gotta
why
get
we're
this
going
this
after
week,
that.
actually.
yeah,
Dane was very adamant.
Yep. we got to get on their agenda for that meeting.
Yeah, to get on their agenda, we've got to get this done today. So, I imagine Dr. Teach, I can see his lawyer eyes just going at it. It's good.
I mean, we had council review this already, right?
You know Dane Fernandez? Oh, he's the one that wrote it up last time. He's our same person.
I mean, so I don't see any issue with the language of the resolution itself. What is the market like? Are we looking to consolidate at a higher interest rate, or what's the cost of money these days?
Yeah, cost of funds is going to be higher than two of the series that were in the 2019s and 22s for sure are going to be a little below where the market is right now in all likelihood. The 2015s are going to be about even, Steven. And that's where the need for that longer amortization bin is probably going to be helpful. It's not a bad time to do it at all. It's just ideally we would love interest rates to be, 200 basis points lower. That's not happening in the foreseeable future.
Right.
Any other questions or concerns or?
I just want to make sure this is the same IDA that is it the same IDA that holds all three of the other bonds, or are we diversified?
No, we are, Pima holds
That's what I thought.
2015 and 17.
Right.
Sierra Vista holds 2022.
Yep.
We're moving away from Pima because they're not doing them anymore.
Oh,
So
so
we'll-
they're not going to resist any payoff either. So
No, it'll functionally be a complete refunding and payoff of those, full extinguishment and a whole new deal, not a parity deal with any of the old existing docs. So
Yeah.
a brand new indenture, a brand new loan agreement, a brand new OS.
do we need investor authorization?
We do not for this, assuming we're successful in completing this. As I understand it, one of your anchor investors is extremely
Yeah.
interested in taking the whole thing down themselves for the future. But because it's a whole new issuance bin, there's no additional indebtedness test or look back test because we're fully refunding those and issuing brand new.
Some of them are all in call right now, right? 2015s are,
Yeah, we've got all of them staged to where they are callable as of now.
Yeah.
For this exact purpose, in case we needed to or wanted to, or the market was very favorable. It's not so much the latter. The market's not unfavorable. It's not super favorable, but the timing of it is.
and we knew this time
beneficial
was
to
coming
Paideia.
to 2027. We knew, 26, 27, I knew we have to do something because they're callable.
No matter what, we have to be out of the 25s
Yeah.
by 27,
Out of the 15s.
right? Out of the
15s.
no, out of the 22s. 22s
Oh,
are
the
a bank deal.
22s
Yeah,
are a
the
bank deal.
15s and 19s were a 30-year amortization. We've got a lot of time left on
No,
those,
the
but they're
bank deal,
callable.
yeah, 22.
The bank deal we have to do something with in the next 2 years, no matter what. So that's more of the strike while you're able to and get it done to benefit the school.
In the interest of making sure it's kosher, with the issuer on first pass, do we need to have authorization of a amortization period as well? Or is the not to exceed going to be sufficient?
Not to exceed is sufficient. The rest of the details on the transaction are up to underwriting. So they're authorizing the issuance through their conduit. They don't worry about the amortization. It's brought to them in a package.
Yeah, I mean, we were going to do it anyway, so I don't have any other questions.
Okay, you want to make a motion?
I move to adopt the resolution as presented. Oh, sorry, I need to clarify because there's a blank on the last page.
Oh, yeah,
Qualifying
that's,
acting.
I'm sorry, I forgot to fill that in. Yeah, that is acting chairperson of the board, and then the next one is on March 23rd, 2026. And then
All right.
by will be my signature and name and title.
Okay, so I move to adopt the resolution as amended to add signer and date information.
Second,
I'll second.
thank you, Mrs. Jones. Okay, Ms. Rodriguez?
Dr. Winsor,
Yes.
Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Rodriguez, yes. Mrs. Chu,
Yes.
Dr. Tejan,
Yes.
Mrs. Hobeige.
Yes.
Motion stands unanimously approved. All right, last item, entertain a motion to adjourn.
This is Ben, so moved.
Thank you, Dr.
I'll
Tejan.
second.
Mrs. Hobeige.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And it is exactly less than an hour, 5:54 PM. Thank you, everyone, for your information. I will most 99.9% be back in the last week of May. And so I'd like to have a board meeting then because that's a time that, did we have anything ready? Budget? Blah, 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 blah. You
For the
know,
state?
Yeah.
Possibly. It depends on if they've issued a temporary. The last 3 years, they've given us this weird, they weren't sure they were going to pass the budget or not, so they held off until late May
Proposed budget, yeah.
for the proposed and adopted. If they've got that, absolutely.
Okay, we'll shoot for that. So.
In fact, yes, we can. We can have it approved. We'll just put it in the form that they indicate once it's done. So
Okay, very
yes.
good. So it'll probably be that Monday, the last Monday of May before, because I want to be here for graduation and that last week for,
Go the 18th,
is that the 18th?
because I think graduation's the 21st, right?
Yeah.
We shall pray for cooler weather.
That's a big prayer.
By the end of May, we'll have 100 again.
Not even close.
So is it May 18th and working for you certain of that?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bill, do you have acceptance?
I do.
Thank you, Dr. Tejan. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you very much. I'll see you all in May then.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
So